We have a crisis in the world, tremendous crisis, and also crisis in our consciousness, in us. I see the urgency of change, radical revolution, mutation in the mind. I see it. It is necessary. There is complete quietness of the mind, and that which is silent has vast space. Only then that which is nameless comes into being.
This is Urgency of Change, the Krishnamurti podcast. There is division between the Jew and the Arab, between the Hindu and the Muslim, between various forms of ideologies. Wherever there is a division, inwardly and outwardly, there must not only be conflict and struggle, but war. Hello and welcome to episode 208 of Urgency of Change. Each episode of the Krishnamurti podcast features carefully selected extracts from the archives. The aim is to represent different aspects of Krishnamurti's radical approach to many of the issues and questions we all face in our lives. This week's theme is division. Upcoming themes are creation, desire, and what is. This is a podcast from Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. Please visit our website at kfoundation.org, where you can find a broad collection of articles and quotes, an introduction and biography, along with a comprehensive index of topics for easy access to texts and recordings. The online store stocks all available Krishnamurti books and ships worldwide. You can also find our regular quotes and videos on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review or rating on your podcast app. This helps our visibility. This week's episode on division has 3 sections. This first extract is from Krishnamurti's talk in Rome in 1973, titled, "Where There Is Division, There Is Always Conflict."
And we have divided life as the outer and the inner. We consider that changing the outward environment somehow is going to transform man. There's a whole section of society that believes in this. Change the outer, then that will somehow transform the inner. And there are all those who pursue that the inner is far more important than the outer. And if you bring about that inward change, you will transform the outer. This has been the whole history in different words, in different facets and culture. This has been the division. Wherever there is a division, national, economic, religious, there must always be conflict. And this division between the outer and the inner seems to me so utterly unreal. They are both go together. And that's one of the things that we have to examine together. First, wherever there is a division, both inwardly and outwardly, there must be struggle, conflict of every kind. As is observed, as one can see the division between the Jew and the Arab, between the Hindu and the Muslim, between various forms of ideologies. Wherever there is a division, inwardly and outwardly, there must be not only conflict, struggle, but war, fear, ambition, competition, and so on. This is an absolute fact, both psychologically and outwardly. Where there is a separation, there must be the ground upon which man fights. And can this separation, as the outer and inner, be resolved ever? The outer is the culture in which we live, religious, economic, social, moral, and all the rest of it. And the inner, we think, is separate from the outer. What we are, the culture is. We are the result of the culture in which we live. You living in Italy are Catholic, Protestant, what you will, economically conditioned, socially certain structure is built. Of that you are. And in transforming oneself totally, psychological revolution, you are changing the whole structure of human thinking. So it's very important that we understand the quality and the nature of this inward revolution, which will also affect the outer. That the two are not different. I hope we are sharing this together. That you are neither agreeing nor accepting. We are examining, investigating together, like two people who are very tremendously concerned, who are very serious, who are concerned seeing what the world is, what one is, that the world is you and you are the world, seeing that, whether it is possible for each one of us to transform ourselves totally. First of all, one must examine how this division, both inwardly and outwardly, has arisen. Why man always lives in conflict, in self-contradictory activity. I hope we are understanding each other, are we? Look, sirs, man, that's you and I, We have lived for thousands of years. We are conditioned. And that conditioning has separated man from man. When I say I'm a Hindu, I've separated myself from non-Hindu. And where there is separation, there must be conflict, war, struggle, pain. And this is one of our conditioning. When we call ourselves Christians or Hindus, communists or whatever you will, that is our conditioning. And as long as that conditioning exists, there must be wars, pain, struggle. And can the mind be free itself from this conditioning and not fall into another form of conditioning? That is, can the mind, your mind, which has been so conditioned for 2,000 years to believe in certain forms of religious, moral, economic conditioning, whether that mind can free itself from it. That's one of the basic questions. In examining that, how is the mind, your mind, going to free itself from a conditioning that separates man from man? And can the mind ever be unconditioned? That is, can the mind observe its conditioning? And can it observe its conditioning without the observer? You understand? I'm conditioned. My mind is conditioned as a Hindu, Catholic or communist, whatever it is. A believer, a non-believer. And the mind sees intellectually or verbally what the results of that conditionings are. It can observe them very clearly, outwardly, historically. And seeing the result and the cause, can the mind free itself from those conditioning factors that separate man from man, so that he lives totally in peace with each other, so that there is no battle between you and me, so that we can live in a world where there is no starvation, no wars, no killing each other, and that it is only possible when a new type of energy comes into being. Now, the release of that new energy is what the speaker is interested in. Because we have lived in such a miserable, confusing, contradictory world, mad world, a world that is totally insane, corrupt, polluted, where man is using the riches of the earth, spoiling everything. Now, to transform the way he has been living, is of the primary and the only thing important.
The second extract is from the second talk in Ojai 1977, titled, Why Do We Live in Division?
Is it possible to live without a single shadow of conflict? Conflict exists when there is division, the me and the you, we and they. The American, the Russian, the ideologies of this group and the ideologies of that group, and so on, so on, so on. Psychologically first, which is most important, not physiologically. If one understands very deeply the nature and the structure of conflict psychologically, and perhaps end it there, then you will be able to deal with the physiological factor. But if you are only concerned with the physiological factor, biological factor, to survive, then you will find it enormously difficult. You can't probably do it at all. So we are concerned, as we have leisure this morning, sitting down together in a beautiful place, with a lot of shadow, green trees and the mountains and the cool breeze. I hope it's not too cold. And having leisure, we are examining, exploring together the fact whether one can live a life that is really without conflict and therefore with deep care, affection, attention. Right? Have you got the question? So we ask, why is there this conflict psychologically? First, psychologically. Why? From ancient days, both historically and religiously, and economically and so on, there has been this division between the good and the bad. I do not know if you are aware of the ancient caves in south of France, north of Africa. In their caves, where there's a painting, probably they say it's 25,000 years old. Don't write to me and tell me you're wrong about the date. Where there is this constant, in symbolic form, the fight between the good and the evil. It existed in Sumeria, 7,000 BC, and down to the present time. The good opposed to the evil. the righteous and the unrighteous, the angel and the devil. Right? We're all familiar with this. We are conditioned to this division. Right? And as we have leisure, and I'm going to insist on that during this talk, we're going to investigate the fact whether there is this division at all. Or only what is and not its opposite. You understand? Suppose there is anger. That is the fact. That is what is. But not to be angry is not a fact. You're meeting up. So, the fact and the non-fact. That is, the good opposed to the evil. And we are asking why human beings have divided this. How has it come about, this division? God and the devil, the whole mythological as well as intellectual and so on. Why this division? Is it because we look at everything from the past? One of the factors. The past being all that you have learned, all that you have experienced. And living in the past, you look at the present, not as the present, but from the past. I wonder if you see it. Are we communicating with each other? I do hope. If I'm not, I would like to go over it in a different way. We're asking why human beings live in this division, therefore in conflict. We are saying one of the factors is this constant living in the past, which dictates all our action, which is the factor of the unconscious. I won't go into that for a moment, but later on. And I hope there are a lot of prominent psychologists here, analysts. I hope they'll go along with me slowly. We have never questioned this division. We have accepted it. Because we are very traditionalist by nature, habit. We don't want anything new. And that being a factor. Other factor is that there is a division between the observer and the observed. When you look at a mountain, you are looking at it as an observer. So there is an observer and the thing observed, which you call the mountain. The word is not the thing, right? The word mountain is not the mountain. But to us, the word is very important. So when we look at that, instantly the response is, that's a mountain, the word. Now, can you look at that mountain, at that thing called mountain without the word. Because the word is a factor of division. I wonder if you're getting all this. When he says, my wife, the word my creates the division. We'll go into when we talk about relationship. So, one of the factors of this division is the word, the name. And the word and the name is a memory, is part of thought. And when we look at a thing, the man or the woman or the mountain, the tree, whatever it is, division takes place when the name, the memory, thought comes into being. Right? So is there an observation without the word, without the name, without the attachment to that particular form and symbol, and to observe without all that? Is this getting difficult? So can you observe without the observer, who is the past? You understand? Who is the past? Who is the essence of all the memories, experiences, the reactions, and so on, which is the past, and look at something without the past, without the observer. When you do that, there is only the observed. So there is no division. You understand? And so no conflict, psychologically. Huh? Are you doing it, or are you just memorizing what is being said? Can you look at your girlfriend or wife or whatever your nearest intimate friend? Can you look, observe her or him without the name, the word, and all the experiences that you have gathered in that relationship, which is memory, which is the past, and look. And when you so look, what takes place? Then you are looking at him or her for the first time. You understand? For God's sake, get this. Don't please learn it, but actually, as your leisure and as we are talking over something which is tremendously important, and learning implies doing it now, not tomorrow, not another day. So that the observer is the observed. Therefore, there is only the observed. I wonder if you get this. Nobody is going to tell you all these things. No books, no gurus, no philosophers. You have to learn this from yourself. And you can only learn this from yourself when you have time, leisure, with mind not being occupied with all kinds of things. So we are saying it is possible to live a life that is completely, psychologically, free from all conflict. Has it happened to you? Please, this is not group therapy, which is an abomination to me, personally. Exposing our dirty laundry to each other, which has no meaning. But what we are actually doing is learning. Not memorizing, but learning, observing the fact. And the fact will do everything if you left the fact alone. Do you understand? So, the fact is that human beings live in the past, and therefore there is always division between the past and the present and the future. The past being the time. So we are saying, as long as, if I may go a little further, as long as there is a time interval in your observation between the observed and the observed, there must be conflict. Okay. Please don't agree with me. See, find out if this is an actual fact to you. If this really, you have really understood this not verbally but are actually doing it. Because we are talking about a very, very serious problem, which is conflict, struggle in life. And when you do not struggle, you think you're lost. And thereby be afraid of losing. Which is another form of conflict. So if you really have gone into this with the speaker together and discovered for yourself, not from the speaker, but discovered it for yourself, that as long as there is a division between the observer, the image maker, and the fact, which has no image, but only fact. As long as there is division, there must be everlasting conflict. That's a law. And can that conflict be ended?
The final extract in this episode is from Krishnamurti's third talk in Madras, 1983, titled Time is Division.
What is time? Time fundamentally means division, distribution, evolution, achievement, moving from here to there. That is, this constant division as of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Sun rising, sun setting, the full moon of a lovely evening, and time, meeting your friend, Time is hope. Time is a very, very complex affair. And that requires a patient. Patience is timeless. You understand what he's talking about? It's only impatience that has time. Are we meeting each other somewhere? So, to inquire into the nature of time, one must have a great deal of patience. Not impatience. Not saying, get on with it. I understand what you're talking about, let's get on. Because we live by time. We have divided our life in a time movement. Movement is time. To go from here to there requires time. To learn a language requires time. To accumulate knowledge, to experience, to have pleasure, looking forward to something, as fear or as pleasure. The memories of yesterday, or 1,000 yesterdays, meeting the present, modified and moving towards the future. This is all time. Time for the clerk to become the manager. To acquire any skill. All this requires time. And the desire to experience something other than the usual experience, the pursuit of that is also time. And whether there is psychological time at all, that is, being violent to become non-violent, that requires time. The pursuit of an ideal requires time. Time means evolution, both physical as well as one imagines, or one has the fallacy that one will evolve into something totally different from what is. All this implies time. Time to realize, to become illumined, which the speaker is questioning. So we must together understand, not verbally, but the feeling of time, the sense of time. Time is memory. The past as the observer. Observing what is happening, translating what is happening to his own condition, to his own experience, and so on. So, We need time, bearing in mind that time essentially means division. Division implies distribution. And time you need to learn a skill. The scientist needs a great deal of time to inquire into matter, into astrophysics. It's so outwardly to change. We imagine time is necessary. Eventually, man who has divided himself into nationalities will eventually become international and gradually drop all nationality and have a global relationship. We think all that requires time. We must evolve towards that. I hope when this is being made clear. So time, which is fundamentally a process of division, outwardly, physically, it is necessary. Like the seed growing into a great tree, that requires time, years. There's a tree in California which is over 5,000 years old. To come to that age, many, many rains and storms and fires and lightning, which is all the growth in time. Are we together in all this? Are we following each other? Sharing with each other? If we are, we see that outwardly, physically, we need time. Time to acquire knowledge. The accumulating process of learning. Mathematics, physics, or how to fly one of these jets. All that requires time. One cannot possibly escape from that time or try to find a stop to that kind of time. That would be utterly meaningless and foolish. But if we could inquire into the nature of time to become something inwardly, can become through diligent work, a clerk or a worker becoming a foreman or a manager. There are all that is time. Go from here to there. For a plant to grow into a great, magnificent tree, the season of winter, spring, summer, autumn is the division of time. Now we are together going to inquire if there is psychological time at all. You understand my question? The time that we think is necessary to change from one psychological or sensory responses to another. We think time is necessary to be free of violence. Time is necessary to be free of envy. I am envious, but give me time to be free of that particular pain or pleasure. So we are questioning whether there is time at all psychologically. You understand my question? Right, sirs? Are we meeting each other? Otherwise, my talking and your sitting here has no meaning. Right? So we are not discussing or having a conversation about the necessity of physical time. To build a house, you need time. To be educated, if you must be educated, needs time. But we are inquiring into something much more important. Much more essential. Because we are conditioned to the idea or to the concept or to the illusion that time is necessary from what is to what should be. We are, the speaker and you, are questioning that. Whether time at all is necessary for a radical change. You understand? Have I stated the question clearly so we all meet it? We said time is division. Time is distribution. Division as I am, I should be. That's a division. And what I should be requires time. Right? We are questioning that. We said, is there such thing as becoming something? Or experiencing something? Is enlightenment, of which many people talk about, does that demand time? We are questioning most fundamental thing. You understand, sirs? Because all our philosophy, our life, all the books that you read, so-called sacred books, are no more sacred than any other book. They've all said time is necessary. You must go through various disciplines, various practices, in order to come near whatever you like to call it, God, an experience which is beyond all measure, a state of mind that has not been touched by time. So, we must go into this question very closely, whether there is psychological time at all. Moment you admit that there is psychological time, time being division, there must be conflict. Right? I have divided violence, which I am, which all human beings apparently are, and to achieve non-violence. There is a division immediately taking place. You understand, sirs? I am violent, we are violent, and we must be the opposite. Where there is the opposite, there must be division, and therefore there must be conflict. And time is the element, is the cause of conflict. I wonder if you understand all this. Don't look so vague, please. Don't be so puzzled. Look at it very simply. I am greedy, which you perhaps are not. I am greedy, and to be non-greedy takes time. We said time is division. Of course. You understand that? So where time comes into being, there must be conflict. And the becoming something is endless. You understand? Now we're asking, is there an end to violence in which there is no time at all? You understand my question? Do you understand that? Come on, somebody say yes. Don't say yes because for the fun of it. Gosh, this is a very, very serious problem. We have accepted time, division, as a means of ending conflict. We are saying quite the contrary. Where there is division as me becoming something, the becoming something is noble, whatever it is. That very division is the process of time. And that division, does it exist at all? You understand? That is, I am greedy. That's the only fact I have. The other, non-greed, non-violence, has no reality. It's just a concept, a structure of thought which cannot understand or end violence. It's an escaping process, the ideal. All right? We are together in this? No, I'm afraid you're not. You're full of ideals. Bag full of them. And you never, under any circumstances, achieve the ideal. Because they are still the invention of thought. Right? As we went into the nature of thought, which is limited, because all knowledge is limited. We talked about it considerably. And it's also, I don't want to make it, one doesn't make it too complex. Greed, measurement, comparison. I am this, I will be that, which is measurement. All that implies psychological time. That is the illusion in which we live. we are questioning the reality of that. There is only what is. There is only a greed. There is only violence. There is only war. And can war end? Killing each other in the name of God, in the name of ideals, in the name of countries, God, and all the rest of it. Now we'll go into it very carefully. I'm violent. When I say I mean all humanity. You are violent. Human beings are violent. Isn't it important to find out whether it can end immediately? Isn't it important? Not say I must become non-violent. When you become non-violent, that means a period of time. During that period, sowing the seeds of violence, which is so obvious. Like man saying, I'm trying to be non-violent. You understand all this? I'll go on. So, is it possible to end violence, or greed, whatever you will, anger? Immediately, the whole entirety of violence. So what is violence? Not merely anger, to injure another, to hate, to criticize, to wound another, both physically and psychologically. To imitate, to conform, not merely physical aggression, but the whole movement of violence. Can that movement totally end? And to find that out, one must understand time as division. I have divided, thought has divided what is into what should be. I am ignorant, not in the scholastic sense. I'm ignorant, but I will be enlightened someday. So, we are now asking whether it is possible to end violence, greed, what you will, immediately, so that it never comes up again. Aren't you interested in that to find out? Are you really? Oh, come on. If you are interested, what do you give? If you buy something, you must give something, right? You must give money. You must make a gesture. You must do something. Not say, yes, I want to end it. Which means to end it, you have to think, you have to work, you have to be passionate about it. not just casual saying yes. That's why I said at the beginning, the speaker said at the beginning, we must meet at the same level, at the same time, with the same intensity. Then we can communicate profoundly, not verbally but with the mind in the heart, which means intelligence operating with love. How do you observe violence? Violence is a sensory response. Right? You have hurt me, I'm wounded, my image about myself has been hurt. You might not physically hurt me, but you have wounded me inwardly. Because I have an image about myself as a great man or some professor or some idiotic person. And that image has been hurt. And to get over that hurt, give me time. Right? I'll work not to be hurt. I'll be aware. I'll be careful, listen carefully, and so on. You see, all that is effort, which is brought about by the division of time. Clear? So, is it possible to end violence so completely it never comes back? That's why we're asking, how do you look? How do you perceive violence? How do you look at a tree, the moon, the stars, the heavens, and the beauty of a night? How do you look at it? How do you look at your wife or your husband, your friend? Do you look at your wife or your husband or the tree or the moon or the rivers with the memories that you have had? With the accumulated hurts, accumulated pleasures, companionship, stored in the brain as memory? Do you look at your wife and your husband with those memories? Right? So, memory is time, right? I wonder if you understand. So, where there is time, there must be division. Right? And hence you have row after row, quarrels, and all the rest of it in your relationship with another. Right, sir? So, it is of the highest importance to find out how to observe. How to observe a tree, which is one of the most beautiful things on earth. How do you look at it? The moment when you use the word tree or the species of tree, you are not looking. Right? The word, the remembrance prevents you from looking. I want to look at my wife. Probably I've never looked at her. I've looked at her as my wife, my possession, my pleasure, sexual and otherwise. I've looked at her with all the memories of the last 10 days or 10 years or 50 years. And those memories come between her and me. And she has also her memories. So it's very important to find out whether one can look at a wife or a husband or the tree or the moon or the flowing waters of a great river without the word, without the name, which is the past. You understand all? So can you look at violence or greed, whatever you will, without the word? The moment you use the word violence, you have already put it in time. You understand this? Oh my God. Moment you use the word, which you have used 1,000 times before as violence, that very word is the factor of time. Right? Do you see this? And therefore you've already brought about a division. Now can you observe your wife, your friend, all right, or the speaker now? Can you observe him without his reputation, without his nothing, without any image? Look at him. Can you? Oh, the image that you have built about the poor chap is so strong that you cannot possibly see him as he is. Or you see him impudently. So who are you to tell us? So, can you look at your wife, at the tree, at a flower, without the movement of thought? The movement of thought is time. Thought divides as time divides. When you look, you are looking without the observer, who is the past, who is the world, who is the memory. That past divides. The past is time. To look at yourself as you look in the mirror, to look at yourself. And that mirror, which is physical, the mirror in which you look is the mirror of relationship. There you can perceive every movement of thought, every movement of reaction. So the perceiver is the perceived. You understand? The analyzer is the analyzed. Right? Do you understand this? I want to experience something extraordinary. I'm bored with all the experience I've had. Sex and pleasure. I want to experience something ultra. Something beyond all thought. And the experiencer has projected what he wants to experience, and therefore the experiencer is the experience. I wonder if you understand all this. A mind that does not demand experience is totally different. Therefore, we have to learn how to listen, how to observe. Not accumulate how to listen. Just listen. Just observe with all the memories. Then you will see that which you observe, which is violence. There is no division between the observer and the observed. The observer is the violence. Right? I want you to see that. And so when you so alert, watch, observe, it's like putting great light on that thing which you observe. Then it disappears totally, never to return.